Hey, fourth graders, I just wanted to share a book with you today, The Man Who Walked Between the Towers. So I've got my Team Omega morning group. Say hi.
Hi.
They're here this morning to listen to the story too, but since you guys couldn't be here, I thought I would go ahead and read it to you today. So today is Patriot Day, which we've been talking about this morning, and this is the day in which we remember those who lost their lives and those who fight for our freedoms, specifically on September 11th. So this is a story, and the setting of our story is the Twin Towers. And the story is from the past when the towers still stood strong. And I just wanted to share this with you. It is nonfiction. This is a true, real story. And if you look up this story on the internet, you'll find actual video clips of this story. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
They're ready
Yes.
too. All right. Once there were two towers side by side. They were each a quarter of a mile high, 1,340 feet, the tallest buildings in New York City. A young man saw them rise into the sky. He was a street performer. He rode a unicycle. He juggled balls and fiery torches. But most of all, he loved to walk and dance on a rope that he tied between two trees. It takes a lot of patience to walk. A lot of balance, right?
Yes.
He looked not at the towers, but at the space between them and thought, what a wonderful place to stretch a rope, a wire on which to walk. Once the idea came to him, he knew he had to do it. If he saw three balls, he had to juggle. If he saw two towers, he had to walk. That is just how he was. So a character trait, he was very determined,
Yeah.
very creative. And when he saw an idea, he was one of those go-getters. I'm going to get it done. Hadn't he danced on a wire between the steeples of the Notre Dame Cathedral above his amazed city of Paris? Why not here, between these two towers? So he had already been to amazing faraway places and done really great feats.
There's a movie called Notre Dame or something like that, and it has that.
Yeah, that's in Paris. Of course he knew that, as in Paris, that the police and the owners of the towers would never allow it. You must be crazy, they would say. You'd fall for sure. And so Philippe, that was the young man's name, began a plan to do it secretly. The buildings are not quite finished, he thought. Maybe if I dressed as a construction worker. So he's plotting a plan. So they're still building the towers. They weren't quite finished. Early on an August evening, there's part of our setting, he and a friend entered the South Tower. They got a 440-pound reel of cable and other equipment into the elevator, took it to the unfinished top 10 floors, and waited till nightfall when everyone had gone. Then they carried everything up 180 stairs to the roof. Think of how heavy that was. Carry it up 180 stairs all the way up to the roof, that heavy cable. And then you can see here they are, that heavy cable. At midnight, on the other tower's roof, two more friends tied a thin, strong line to an arrow and shot it across to Philippe, 140 feet away. It missed and landed on the edge, 15 feet below the roof. Bad luck, thought Philippe. Do you think that bad luck sign's gonna stop him? Do you think that's gonna stop him?
No.
That's not gonna stop him. He crawled down the ledge over the sparkling city and got the arrow. My heart was like, oh, he's climbing down the ledge, look at that. To its line, he tied a stronger line, which his friends pulled back to their tower. To the end of his stronger line, Philippe tied the cable on which he would walk. It was 7/8 of an inch thick. So it wasn't even an inch thick. It was smaller than an inch thick. And that's what he was going to walk across the towers on. You can see. His friends pulled the cable over to their tower, but it was so heavy that it slipped from Philippe's grip. The cable's middle plummeted towards the street, pulling the friends on the other tower to the very edge. My heart was beating like, oh, is this another bad sign? Philippe, what are you doing? It took 3 hours to pull the heavy cable back up Frantically, as the stars faded, they tightened it between the towers. Remember, this is all at night. They're all doing it secretly. So they're tightening it, and they get it nice and tight. It was past dawn before they were ready. So the sun was up, and they got it ready to go. Philippe put on his black shirt and tights. He picked up his 28-foot balancing pole. All of his life, he had worked to be here, to do this. So the pole that he holds as he walks across is 28 feet across. 28 feet, that's really a long pole. As the rising sun lit up the towers, he stepped out onto the wire. I love that visual detail. The rising sun lit up the towers. You can just see the sun and the shining of the towers. So here's Philippe. Page there. Out to the very middle he walked, as if he were walking on air itself. Many winds whirled up from between the towers, and he swayed with them. He could feel the towers breathing. Now, could towers breathe? No, but he could feel that motion. He was not afraid. He felt alone and happy and absolutely free. There's another big page. Ready? A woman coming from the subway might have been the first to see him. Look! Someone walking on a wire between the towers. Everyone stopped and looked up. They gasped and stared. It was astonishing. It was terrifying. It was beautiful. A quarter of a mile up in the sky, someone was dancing, but the police saw it too. Yeah, dun dun dun.
He's gonna get arrested.
They have to catch him first if they want to arrest him. Officers rushed to the roof of the tower. You're under arrest, they shouted through bullhorns. Philippe turned and walked the other way. For almost an hour, back and forth, he walked and danced and ran and knelt in a salute among the wire. So who would come and get him? So on each end, they're shouting at him, and he just keeps walking in the middle. They're not going to come out there. He even lay down to rest. The city harbor spread beneath him. The sky surrounded him. Seagulls flew under and over. And as long as he stayed on that wire, he was free. When he felt completely satisfied, he walked back to the roof, held out his wrists for the handcuffs. They brought him to court, and the judge sentenced him to perform in the park for the children of the city. That's not really much of a punishment, is it? Then he did, happily. Though during his performance, some boys playing on his wire jerked it, and Philippe fell. So there were some kids messing with the wire. But he caught himself. Now the towers are gone. So we know that they're gone, that the space where they used to be, they're gone because of September 11th. But in memory, as if imprinted on the sky, the towers are still there. And part of that memory is the joyful morning, August 7th, 1974, when Philippe Petit walked between them in the air. So even though the towers are gone, this is one of those great memories that remains. And we know that in the place of where these towers were, there are new structures that are there that are memorializing or that are remembering those who lost their lives. We hope you guys enjoyed this book today, The Man Who Walked Between the Towers. We hope you're having a great day.